Montembeault getting the start tonight, but Monty won't play the full 60 as Jacob Fowler will see some action as well. He's expected to take over about midway through tonight's game, and when he does, it will mark the 20-year-old's NHL preseason debut. All right, without further ado, it's back to the Bell Center and Kenzie Lalone.
Yes, hockey returns at the Bell Center. It's the first day of fall. The air is crisp. The ice is fresh as the Canadiens host the Penguins for their first preseason game of the year. And if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, you can't wait for Ivan Demidov to get started here in preseason action.
Kenzie, some people like hockey, some people love hockey, and Ivan Demidov loves hockey. He spent all summer here in Montreal training under the eyes of the Montreal Canadiens on the ice in Brassard, and now he's going to play his first preseason game after playing regular season games, playoff games, and the sky is the limit for Ivan Demidov. So much skill, and all the fans that get an opportunity to see him here tonight will be pretty thankful to do so as Dan Muse, the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, looks on, and Marty St. Louis, who I'm sure has a lot of excitement to coach a player like Demidov for a full season.
Mike Sullivan, an arrow over. In comes Dan Muse as the Penguins bench boss. Underway here, the first preseason game for the Montreal Canadiens, game 1 of 6 before October 8th, and it all gets started in Toronto. Oliver Kapanen will center this top line with Patrick Laine and Ivan Demidov, and Kapanen's name continues to swirl as there is a forward spot available here on the Canadiens this season, so we'll be keeping our eyes on Kapanen and how he looks throughout preseason. Loose puck down low. Ryan Graves tries to get things early, and a quick hit on Ivan Demidov right in the corner.
Well, that's going to be part of it for Demidov, working through all the sticks and the hits and the contact, and all the best players have to do it, and they have to do it from such a young age, and well, that'll be something that he deals with this year as he's in on the forecheck. Connor Clifton gives him a little extra for his forechecking attempts and sends him to the ice as Demidov doing the right thing, trying to get in and separate man from the puck as Connor Clifton comes over from the Buffalo Sabres in the final year of a deal that pays him $3.3 million per year.
Off the face-off, Dobson with an early shot, let it go, working alongside Mike Matheson tonight. Now Evans a chance, quick shot just high for Jake Evans. No Armia, no Dvorak for the Canadiens. This appears to be a go-to line. Josh Anderson, Gallagher, Jake Evans, likely a trio this season, so an early look at these guys working together. Gallagher will get the tip in. Gives time for Anderson to lay a hit now to the far side as Penguins looking for an option on the breakout. Puustinen finds the near side, snaps it back down low for Ryan Shea. Into the Canadiens end it will go, and an early touch for Samuel Montembeault. Finished up last season with the 3rd most games by an NHL goaltender. We talk about jobs available up front. We'll talk about backups as well. Will be Jakub Dobish. You've got Kapanen coming in as well.
I think part of that, Kenzie, is last year we saw Samuel Montembeault play so many games down the stretch, and Marty St. Louis didn't want to go to Dobish unless he really had to, so now having a veteran goaltender as your 2 or 3 just gives you a little more insulation.
Out in front, a chance. Montembeault ready for it. Rick with an early opportunity of Pittsburgh. Now back to center. Brunick, another chance, kicks it out wide for Avery Hayes. He'll step in. Hayes tees one up. Delayed penalty on the way. So our first look at special teams. Hooking is going to be the call.
Harrison Brunick is going to draw this penalty as he's a mobile young defenseman. Well, certainly going to be one of those players that plays on Team Canada's World Junior team, and he's going to drive through the middle of the ice, and as he cuts through the middle, Adam Engstrom just gets his stick into the legs of Brunick. So the Montreal Canadiens, this won't be their personnel on the penalty kill this year, but there's going to be some new personnel on this Montreal Canadiens penalty kill with Savard, Armia, and Dvorak moving on.
Quite a changeover on the penalty kill unit that was so strong as Luka Condona shorthanded. High and hard shot. Belzile also on the far side back here in Montreal for a few years. New York Rangers system. Condona will chip it in. He'll go for a change as Belzile applies pressure.
We talked to Belzile this morning. He had a big smile on his face back in the Montreal Canadiens organization where he spent 5 good years.
Over a dozen years in pro and only ever got that NHL sniff with the Canadiens. Hayes back to the point. Penguins on the power play early on in this first period. Adam Engstrom in the box for Montreal. Evans, a reliable penalty killer for Martin St. Louis. Quick touch, and he'll go for a change.
Well, that's one player that's coming back to this penalty kill this year is Jake Evans, who was averaging around 3 minutes per game shorthanded last year.
In the zone for the Penguins out in front. Davidson gets a piece of it at the far end. Dobson on the penalty kill. Matheson as well, and he'll rim it around. A minute gone on Pittsburgh's power play. We look at those penalty kill rolls. St. Louis mentioning Nick Suzuki could likely get a sniff there. Alex Newhook even as well. Guys like Jaden Struble knows that could be a role for him to be a regular in the lineup if he can prove himself as a penalty killer.
I think the guy that really can step up this year on the penalty kill is Alex Newhook. Just the way he skates, it lends himself to being an effective penalty killer. And Noah Dobson's going to have to play big minutes. And we'll see Arbor Jacki or Jaden Struble who steps up and fills the void left by David Savard.
Puck gets rimmed around. Sam Poulin back on it. Hit early as Fabry will go grab his helmet. And on a PTO here. Dumbo coming in from Dallas, chips it in. Struble tries to get on it early. Back to 5-on-5 action as Struble tries to lay a hit out in front, and Poulin another chance in the slot. Father Patrick, a former Montreal Canadian in the late 90s, as Shea lets it go. Struble pins Poulin, gives some time for Koponen to get in and around the traffic down low. Evans there for help. Breaking free in on the far side. Furman gets steered to the boards as Josh Anderson gets taken down in the slot. He's looking for a call. Habs fans back in full action, giving their opinion on the play. And Patrick Laine to the ice here for Montreal. Looking to have a smooth training camp. To think this time last year in the first preseason game against the Flyers, this crowd came to life. Chance in front, Raphael Harvey-Pinard here with the Penguins. Graves lets it go from the points. Another chance, Clifton on the right side, in the slot, and Montembeault all over the rebound as Matheson just bodies Harvey-Pinard in front.
Well, Mike Matheson reintroducing himself to Raphael Harvey-Pinard, former teammate. What a run it was for Harvey-Pinard in 22-23, where he had 14 goals in 34 games. Sizzling shooting percentage of 24.1%. As Clifton's going to deliver this shot that gets blocked, and then the follow-up attempt by Imama. Harvey-Pinard is swinging away at it, and a nice job by Mike Matheson to clear him out of the way. Now, Imama's going to go to the box. The Penguins are going to get a penalty, so Montreal will roll out what looks to be, we'll see how it plays out in the regular season, but as of now, this could be their second power play unit with Noah Dobson running the point, and Oliver Kapanen may be a placeholder for Kirby Dach, but this is pretty much what it should look like on power play number 2.
An exciting time for this power play unit. 2 strong units, right? Coach Martin St. Louis, some options and great flexibility as Patrick Laine tees one up. Joel Blomqvist ready for it. Laine in full form in this first period of preseason action.
If you're Patrick Laine, you love that you have a right-handed shot feeding you one-timers. The way the puck spins off a right-handed blade for a right-handed one-timer is better than a left-handed passer. Patrick Laine is going to be able to get a lot more on that one-timer with Dobson passing it to him.
20 goals, 15 on the power play for Laine last year. Penguins sending it in deep, rim to the far side. Heinen pinned up against the boards as Dobson tries to pull this away. Demidov looking to get open. Swing and a miss, gives time for Patrick Laine. He'll go 1-on-2. Laine on the power play, breaks free. Laine trying to finish the job. A great push and draws the penalty as well.
That is something that Habs fans, and especially Marty St. Louis, will be very pleased to see from Patrick Laine. Moving your feet, beating people one-on-one, generating chances, draws a penalty.
Graves 2 minutes for slashing.
And Graves gets the call, but Patrick Laine, a quick move to get around Connor Clifton, who loses an edge, but you'll take any help you can get as the puck bounces on Graves, and Laine cuts right back to his forehand. Clifton can't stay with him, and by the time Laine is able to get that shot off, Graves has got his stick into the hands of Laine, and Montreal with an early 5-on-3.
Not bad for about a minute and a half here for Montreal. Off the face-off, Demidov winning it to the far side. Dobson steps down. Gallagher on it early. Brendan Gallagher coming off one of his most productive seasons in 5 years. Dobson heads back for it.
And most importantly for Gallagher, an 82-game season last year. He was healthy all year.
Demidov in over the line on this 5-on-3 for Montreal. Gallagher snaps it to Laine. Top of the circles, back to the middle of the ice for Dobson. Demidov weighs his options. Up high, finds Dobson. Laine tried for the one-timer. He said this offseason he skated most he thinks he has in years. Starting to show off as he moved his feet and was able to draw in that penalty. Clifton throwing the weight around. Loose puck stepping in. Dobson rather keeps his play going as Laine heads back for it. Under 40 seconds to go. Kapanen now to the 5-on-3. Laine stepping in, opts for the pass. Down low, gives some room for Demidov. One time by Noah Dobson. Montreal getting some looks.
Well, some looks for Montreal on the 5-on-3, but it's preseason, and there's just not that much time to practice your schemes and your X's and O's. And special teams was a focus yesterday at practice, but you wouldn't have dug that deep into working on 5-on-3. But Noah Dobson getting some looks early, and Noah Dobson's not going to defer to Patrick Laine every single time. He's got a good shot. He's going to want to use it, especially if he can get his one-timer off. He's got 10 goals last year, 10 goals the year before, so there's going to be an onus on shooting for Noah Dobson as well.
And Kent Hughes had mentioned when bringing in another defender, wanting them to be a shooter. Shot just wide for Sean Farrell. You look at Dobson's shooting numbers. Took the 6th most shots by a defender last year. Total of 196, so does have that shooting mentality. Matheson takes a look, far side pass. Out comes Imama. Under 30 seconds to go with the man advantage for Montreal. Bayshard chasing after it. Heinen now in on the far side as Sean Farrell tries to pull this puck out. And Beck heads to the front of the net. Engstrom down low, Beck rolls off. Final seconds of this power play for Montreal. One-time shot by Matheson, blocked in front, loose puck. Penguins try to clear it, Matheson keeps it in. Kapanen, Beck, I think as well, Joshua Waugh, Joe Veleno, names that come to mind when you think of this opening for a forward this season with Montreal. All with a center tendency, but you look at that Bolduc Newhook line where that role will be filled. Newhook has the versatility as well, can play wing. So important for that player that joins his team this year to be versatile as well.
That's the big opening right now in Montreal's lineup, where there's a job to be had. And Owen Beck's getting a look. Kapanen's going to get a look, like you said. And well, that's an exciting thing if you're a young player. Now, Owen Beck is natural centerman, but he has a lot of third-line tendencies. He's responsible. He has an edge to his game. You're not going to shy away from things.
Owen Beck saying this summer he honed in on just the details, eating right. Feels he plays his best when he plays that heavy, hard game, moves his feet.
Did mention that playing in Laval this year with Florian Xhekaj, that really helped him bring out the physical element of his game.
Clifton from the blue line, penalty on the way against Montreal. Blomqvist to the bench as the whistle sounds. Pittsburgh Penguins to the power play when we return in Montreal. It's preseason action.
Jared Davidson, the 23-year-old forward for the Montreal Canadiens, entering his 3rd year pro. Former Seattle Thunderbird is off to the penalty box as he has a hit on Tristan Brose. Well, Montreal will go back to the penalty kill. Well, Davidson had a good year in Laval last year, 45 points, 24 goals, and will always have this element to his game. He was like that in the WHL, scrappy player. And that'll be part of what helps him get to the next level as he tries to graduate from the Laval Rocket to the Montreal Canadiens. Might not happen right away, but at this point, you're just trying to cement yourself as the first call-up player when an injury or a trade happens, and that's part of the job right now for Davidson.
Davidson, Beck, Florian Jacki, quite the trio down the stretch for Laval last year. Got some built-in chemistry, Davidson and Beck. So the face-off will be in Montreal zone as Pittsburgh goes back to the power play. Hopeful run already in this game. Haven't landed a shot on net. Samuel Montembeault starting this game. We are expected to see Jacob Fowler partway through his first taste of training camp. Dumba heads back for the puck for Pittsburgh. Tommy Novak in control through center ice. He'll carry it in over the line. Novak to Hayes. Gregory Hayes in the OHL Championship with Peterborough with Owen Beck. Looking for an option. Down low, it will go. Back up high, Novak to center, and a quick shot by Dumba. Montembeault ready with the blocker. Hayes looking for another angle. Owen Beck saying early on, Hayes stood out as a skilled guy and then has got to know him very much. In on the corners, whatever the coach asks from him, he will do. One of those undrafted guys that has earned himself his spot. Novak, no-look shot as it heads off into the corner. Hayes right there for it. Mantha trying to get open. New addition here to Pittsburgh this season, coming in from Calgary. Novak trying to fight off in front. Into the netting it will go. 54 seconds remaining on this power play.
Now, you talked about Avery Hayes. Won back-to-back OHL championships and had to settle for an AHL deal with Pittsburgh, but finally got his entry-level deal this summer, so he'll be property of the big club. And there's Anthony Mantha, who's coming off ACL surgery early last year with the Calgary Flames. Only played 13 games, but comes over to Pittsburgh on a one-year deal, paying him $2.5 million with $2 million in performance bonuses if he can hit them.
Brunick from the blue line as he lets it go. Harrison Brunick, the first skater born in South Africa to be selected in the NHL draft. Penguins took him second round in the 2024 draft. Moved to Calgary when he was about 2 years old and played his junior hockey with Kamloops, but pretty fun fact for him.
He's a good player. He moves really well. He does a lot of things well, and got some good experience after his junior season was over last year, playing 10 games in the AHL for Wilkes-Barre Scranton.
You've been there, eh, Frankie?
Yeah. Put in my time in Wilkes-Barre.
Brunick out in front trying to get open. What a shot. Tristan Brose gets Pittsburgh on the board early. A power play marker.
With a quick pass into the bumper position makes this happen, and it's hard for Samuel Montembeault to track it as Brunick does a nice job selling the shot, and then it's off to the half wall for a quick give and go as this puck gets thrown around. Watch Brunick attack low, move the puck, and then a quick one-touch right back to the half wall by Puustinen. Samuel Montembeault's late getting across as Tristan Brose wastes no time catching it, releasing it, and the Pittsburgh Penguins get a power play goal.
Tristan Brose gets Pittsburgh on the board early. No stranger to big goals for the overtime winner for the University of Denver to punch their ticket to the championship game where they wound up winning. A lot of feel good for him in this camp. Pittsburgh with a 1-0 lead against Montreal here in the first period. It's been a bunch of special teams first half of period number one. Montembeault comes out to play the puck, trying to feed it up. Ogaizo lands a hit. Klerman now breaks free. Last year with Pittsburgh. Nathan Klerman, as that puck stays in play. 8:56 remaining in the first period.
Well, it's preseason for everyone, but some players a little more solidified than others. Other players fighting for jobs. For players on this Pittsburgh Penguins team, it's such an interesting time because there's jobs to be had. As Penguins likely in a rebuild, and there's some of the young players vying for jobs. Brunick, Brose, and Puustinen all connecting on a power play goal for the Penguins.
Montreal, a team that very much embraced their rebuild. Now they've very much entered a new phase of this rebuild, whereas Pittsburgh certainly in a transition period, and you have to think moves this year by Kyle Dubas will dictate the extent of what this rebuild will be. As Shea fights for time on the far side, into the corner it will go. Klerman plays the body. Struvel's right there. Jaden Struble looking for the centering pass, trying to feed Oliver Kapanen. I asked Cole Caulfield when he thinks of Oliver Kapanen's game, he said he's just so comfortable. And that's an exciting quality to describe someone's play who is still so young and looking for a full-time job in the NHL.
So young, but so smart, and not the fastest player, but can anticipate things well enough that he arrives at the right times. And that's a quality that usually you get when you're an older player, but he's got it at a young age.
Oh, and back with a great chance. His shot gets redirected the final seconds. As Pittsburgh has the lead, courtesy of Tristan Brose, a power play marker.
Habs have done a great job of identifying talent, drafting that talent, and now developing the next wave of players is so important. And Owen Beck, one of those players, Oliver Kapanen, Joshua Waugh, David Reinbacher, all guys vying for jobs this year. And based on the lines that we saw at open camp, Owen Beck is going to have a really good opportunity of making this team.
Owen Beck, Florian Xhekaj as well, has had a strong camp. Back at it tomorrow night against the Flyers. Struble from the blue line. Blomqvist with a pad save out in front. No stick for Ben Kindle. We talked about Yvon Demidov's age at 19. Well, Ben Kindle just 18 years old, picked up in the 2025 draft. Pittsburgh's first round pick. Bashar keeping things to the outside. Engstrom jumps in on it. Adam Engstrom, another one of those players that's so poised with the puck and still so young. Just 21 years old. Out in front, hoping for an extra tip. Philip Machar also hoping to have a strong camp with Montreal.
And for Philip Machar, hopes to have a strong season in Laval.
Novak trying in with pace as Puustinen brings it to the far side. And Harvey Pinard will lay the body. Davidson in for Montreal. Up against Clifton. Ryan Graves looking to use his side. Look at Pittsburgh and their upcoming season. Got some room on the left side for defense. Some big minutes that could be played. You think of Pickering, you think of Graves that are going to be pushing for that job. Connor Clifton. Early on it, takes a hit from Lucas Condotta. Matheson with some room. Final year of his contract. Touched on it briefly early on in camp, just sharing how he wants to be in Montreal as long as he can. Paired alongside Noah Dobson, likely be tasked with taking on some of the best talent in the NHL this season. Big minutes. Under 7 to go in the first period. Pittsburgh with the lead. Tristan Brose, a lone goal scorer on the power play. As Gallagher back out on the ice for Montreal. Ben Kindle grew up admiring Brendan Gallagher's game, at times wore number 11. As Gallagher goes to work down low. Jake Evans takes a view up high. Klerman tries for the shot. Great touch as Evans gains control. El Gaizo takes a hit. Fabry and him collide. A few extra shoves for one another on the half boards.
Del Gaizo's got a little bit of that snarl to his game. He's not the biggest guy at 5'11", but plays with an edge, and it helped him last year. Played 46 games with the Nashville Predators.
Fabry, a few words with Del Gaizo. Another hit laid. Anderson, something to say about it. Penalty on the way as Anderson and Fabry are just exchanging shoves here right in front of the Montreal bench. Referees all over it. Josh Anderson into the box for the Montreal Canadiens when we return in preseason action number 1.
These are are the types of penalties that you'll take in the preseason when a player tries to take a run at your star rookie, Ivan Demidov, as Robbie Fabry takes a healthy run at Demidov. Demidov ducks under it, and Anderson takes exception to that. Now, it was a busy shift for Fabry. He got into it with Delgaizo twice and took out some of his frustrations on Ivan Demidov. And Anderson steps in, and a Pittsburgh power play is Robbie Fabry. Good player who's been sidetracked by so many injuries throughout the course of his career. 3 ACL surgeries last year. Missed a ton of time with a hand injury. Occurred in February, and comes to Pittsburgh on a PTO, hoping to make the team.
Anderson in the box. Pittsburgh back to the power play where they score their lone goal. Harvey Pinard with a nice dance in front of Montembeault. A great move early on this power play for Pittsburgh. 1 for 2 so far in this game. Back up high it will go. A look and a shot here. Redirected in the corner. Harvey Pinard first on it. Back up high. Brunick hoping to keep this puck in. Condotta breaks free. Heinen's right there for support. He'll take it in over the line. Harvey Pinard stood right back up. Belzile gets a piece of it and floats it to center. 105 to go in the first period. Listen. A work by Matheson. Puck down low, giving room. Another chance in front. Montembeault gets there just in time. A roaring cheer from the crowd. A big stop for Samuel Montembeault.
Guess the groin's feeling okay. Nice save by Montembeault.
31 wins last year in the regular season for Montembeault. The Monty chance began in the first period. Avery Hayes chips it in. So they won that first OHL title with Hamilton alongside Arbor Jackeye, and then the Peter O'Peats OHL title with Owen Beck as a younger brother as well that recently got drafted by Pittsburgh. There are a lot of similarities between the Jackeye family and his family. The older brother undrafted, making their mark. Younger brother coming in, forwards, looking to make their own history. Dumba from the blue line, redirected in front. Struble gets some strong hand-eye coordination on that puck. Another angle, they'll go for it. Loose puck, swatted away in time. Montreal able to change personnel. Of course, Josh Anderson in the box, who embraced his new role last year as a penalty killer. Average a minute 45 a game on the PK for Montreal. He'll head for a change, try to take advantage of that play on the stretch pass, but it won't be enough, so he'll head off. Back to even strength. Pittsburgh out shooting Montreal 12-6 so far in this game. A lot coming on the power play. Demidov back to the ice. A look at the second line. Slotted in there will be Kirby Dach to start the season. Arte St. Louis saying he will play preseason games. It's a matter of which one. Maybe we'll see him tomorrow night. Puck get rimmed around to the far sideline. Trying to get open. Delgaizo feeds him. Ivan Demidov, a break here through center ice. A spin move, and he'll break free. Tries to finish the play. So creative, so explosive with his speed. As his rookie season looks to begin, Ivan Demidov.
And you never want to stifle that creativity from him. You have to allow him the leeway to do those types of things.
Shea keeps this puck to the outside, circles. One-time release from Dumba, lets it go. Redirected to the corner as Anthony Mantha picks it up at the far side. You know, and Jeff Gordon was asked if he feels Ivan Demidov has what it takes to carry a line, to carry that second line. Jeff Gordon said, yeah, I believe he will. The stage does not appear to be too big for him.
As time goes on, he will. And here's the big save by Samuel Montembeault, shorthanded. Mike Matheson made a stand at the blue line, so Noah Dobson got caught right in the middle, tries to block the pass, and Montembeault does a great job to extend that right leg, and a big stop on Anthony Mantha.
3 playoff games under Montembeault's belt before the injury. Bobish had to step in.
He played a lot of hockey down the stretch. Yeah. Montembeault was going every night.
Primo now in Carolina. Jakob Dobish, Fowler, Capo Kakkonen, some names here. The watch in the crease for Montreal as Owen Beck looks for an option off the inner skate. Gets redirected to Sean Farrell as he tries to race for it. Back to 5-on-5 action. Farrell tries to get open. Chaos just inside the blue line. As Dumba tries to feed it right back down. Dobson, a DD pass to Matheson. Up high, looking in front as Beck chips it in. Shea, a near side pass to Dumba. Ryan Shea, former captain at Northeastern University. He was Jaden Strubl's captain during his time there. He said one of the best captains he ever had. Really took Strubel under his wing early on in the college days at Northeastern. They were texting a little bit today, but of course Pittsburgh, the away teams come in just before game time, so weren't able to catch up.
Now, one of the challenges of preseason, you always fly in the day of the game, so off the plane right to the arena.
Final minute to go in the first period. Pittsburgh in the lead 1-0. Tristan Brose, your lone goal scorer, and a penalty on the way against Josh Anderson, so he's going to head right back to the penalty box, and he can't believe it.
Well, I guess if both coaches wanted a little more time to practice special teams, they didn't have to do it in practice. They'll just do it in the game. So we get another penalty. Josh Anderson to the box. It's been a busy first period of the preseason for Josh Anderson as he's going to take down Connor Clifton. His line in on the forecheck. Now, he got tripped up by Ryan Graves, and that's why he took down Clifton, as they were all tangled up behind the net. See Anderson in there. Graves' stick is going to go right between the legs of Anderson. Anderson goes down, takes Clifton down, and the officials just take Anderson. It's the preseason for everyone.
Oh, for everybody. Pittsburgh 1 for 3 so far on the power play. They've landed 6 shots. So half of their shots on net so far have come on the power play in this period. Dumba will walk the line. Shot blocked in front by Strubel. A great clear for Jaden Strubel. Strubel played 2 games of the playoffs. Arbor Jacki played the final 3. All eyes will be on those 2 4 regular minutes on the blue line for Montreal this year. Dumba, quick pass ahead. Kindle breaks it out wide. Hayes takes the hit. Final seconds of the first period. Montreal gets the clear. Longfist tops for the stretch pass to Dumba. And he will wind down the clock as period number 1 comes to a close in Montreal, and it's the road team in the lead.
Plenty of special teams both ways as the Pittsburgh Penguins grab a 1-0 lead. Samuel Montembeault with a big save on Anthony Mantha, and both teams looking to play a little more at 5-on-5 in the second period.
The Wisconsin native Tristan Brose, your lone goal scorer on the power play. Puustinen and Brunik getting the helpers. More to come in our first intermission with Laura Daikin and Carlo Koliakovo. It's the Habs on TSN.
So a pretty light night when it comes to preseason action across the NHL. Just 2 other games going on right now. And we can tell you that the former Montreal Canadien, Caden Primo, in action getting the start for the Hurricanes, who are trailing 1-0 after 20 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Montreal Canadiens still awaiting their first goal of this preseason. Perhaps it will come in the second period. Tristan Brose, the lone goal scorer so far, as we head back to the Bell Center. And here again is Kenzie.
Welcome back in the Bell Center. Montreal Canadiens open up this second period on the penalty kill. Josh Anderson in the box for tripping. 1:19 remaining. So to the penalty kill they go, and Jaden Strubel has his eye on that job. It's a chance to remain in the lineup.
Yeah, we heard from Jaden Strubel this morning after morning skate. He mentioned the fact that he's been watching clips from last year and learning how Montreal does things, although he would already know. He's had some reps on the penalty kill, just used sparingly if one of the normal penalty killers were in the box last season. But there's an opportunity to really assert yourself into the lineup if you're Jaden Strubel. You're going to be on the team. You got the new contract, but can you carve out your role? And if Jaden Strubel can establish himself as a go-to penalty killer, it makes it that much harder to take him out of the lineup this season.
Had a chance last week to sit down with one of the Montreal Canadiens for about 10 minutes, a quick Q&A, and I asked each of them the best piece of advice you've ever been given and who gave it to you. A lot of players talked about advice younger coaches had given them or their fathers. For Jaden Strubel, he said, honestly, it's got to be something David Savard said to me. And he said, you know what? It's Savvy always says you got to treat every day like it's your last, and you got to play with urgency. Penguins opening up this second period on the power play. About a minute to go. Back to the blue line it will be. Brunick to the far side as Penguins start to snap this puck around. Down low, Javier Pinard, a nice pass through the legs, out in the slot. Brunick keeps this puck alive. Heinen down low, Pinard out in front. Brunick, a one-time shot. Montembeault sees it through.
Well, there's plenty of jobs on the Montreal Canadiens penalty kill that was vastly improved last season, 9th in the NHL, just under 81%. And for David Savard, he munched a lot of those minutes, blocked a ton of shots defensively. And Yoel Armia, 4th in NHL forwards in shorthanded time on ice. He did a great job with Jake Evans, and Christian Dvorak, like we talked about in the intermission, a big face-off contributor for them.
Montreal, 9th best penalty kill in the regular season, 80.9%. Shot just wide, another chance off the blue line. Ben Kindle lets it go. Comes from a sport family, parents, former pro soccer players, played both sports growing up, leaned towards hockey as he got older. Tommy Novak carries it in over the line. Final seconds of this Pittsburgh power play. Anderson eager to get out of the box. Back-to-back penalties for Josh Anderson in that first period. Kindle with some speed through the center of the ice. Mantha, shot. Montembeault ready for it. Back down low, calling for it. Dumba lets it go. Blocked in front by Condotta. And off the break, Josh Anderson, fresh out of the penalty box. Anderson tries to feather it ahead for Condotta, using his speed to get there in time. Pass just far and wide.
It's a 200-foot sequence almost for Lucas Condotta with a nice block shot, and then uses his speed to try and create a man advantage at the net.
Montembeault with the save from Robbie Fabry, who got himself everywhere in that first period. Looking to earn himself a job with Pittsburgh this season.
Well, Fabry scored 18 goals twice in the NHL. He did it in 2016 and 2024, and a little surprised that he's on a PTO, but gets an opportunity on a team where there's going to be some moving parts this season.
Malkin, final year of his contract as Graves lets it go. Loose puck in the slot, eyeing it, and it's a blocker save by Montembeault. Ricard Raquel, you think, rust, where will the future lie for some of these big players? Montembeault, another big save, drifts it to the corner. Alpinen back out in front. Pittsburgh spending some time in the offensive zone early on in the second period, carrying off their power play.
Well, we talked a little bit about Oliver Kapanen, and last year had a really strong training camp, broke camp with the team, and eventually went back to Sweden to play with Team Raw and had a dominant season there. 36 games, 15 goals, 35 points, and ended up coming back to Montreal, played 3 playoff games for them, and went on to play with Laval afterwards. It was a busy year for him, well-traveled, but he's better off for it. A really smart player, and he looks to assert himself here at training camp again.
Then he worked on face-offs. He got back here in Montreal to start a training camp. Should be topic of conversation throughout this season. Dvorak so strong in the dot. Same we saying, likely face-offs by committee this year.
You need good help from your wingers as well. Like, not every face-off is a clean win or clean loss.
Matheson with a long shot. Dobson gets on the loose puck early. He weighs his option. Back for Matheson, and it's a one-time shot. Gallagher causing havoc in the slot. Puck stays in Pittsburgh zone as Josh Anderson rolls off his check. Matheson keeps the play going. Chips it down low. Anderson tries to glove it aside. Noah Dobson from Summerside PEI. Got credit union in place. You'll see the shrine there of the Summerside talent. Touched NHL in the pro leagues. Battling along the boards. Anderson trying to get open as Matheson finds some room. Turnover into Kindle's hands. He looks to make a play. Back down low it will go. Brunick through neutral ice. He'll chip it away as Owen Beck lays a hit. Bringing that heaviness to his game. That's what St. Louis likes to see. He was strong in the face-off dot as well. In the limited games we've seen him play at the NHL level, about 53% in those 13 games collectively. Played 12 of those last year with the Canadiens. Another hit thrown back deep in the zone. Disrupts play. Philip Mayshard trying to take advantage. Blomqvist looking to get the glove on it, and he will.
That's a quality shift for Owen Beck. Exactly what you want to do to get some attention from your coaching staff. Throw the body around. Owen Beck's always going to be a responsible player, a mature player, but anytime you can have some kind of presence like that, especially if you're going to be a bottom six player, that'll go a long way for Owen Beck as Jacob Fowler looks on, the 20-year-old. And he'll get split duties today with Samuel Montembeault.
His nickname's Gator, which I like. Florida boy. Said he was given to when he was in junior. Starting to come back as Engstrom lets it go from the blue line. Beck fights for some room in possession. Goes off. Mantha steers him to the corner as Beck makes the play. To the blue line it will go for James Struble. Walks the line. Finds Adam Engstrom. Another shot. Finds the angle. Walker saved by Blomqvist. Struble takes a look. Opts for the pass. Farrell with a shot. Pad saved by Blomqvist. Spent some time with the Penguins last year. 15 games. .885 save percentage for Yoel Blomqvist.
Well, that's an area where the Penguins have to improve big time. Is in the crease. They had the 5th worst team save percentage last year at .884, and they scored a decent amount, average, right in the middle of the pack, but they gave up a ton of goals.
Harvey Pinard, 84 games as a Montreal Canadian, feeds it to the blue line. Ryan Graves just tees one up. Got a big extension himself not long ago, 2023. 6th year, $27 million for Ryan Graves of Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done here in Pittsburgh for Dan Muse, who spent the last 2 years as the assistant coach of the New York Rangers and has kind of carved out a niche as a special teams guru. Ran the penalty kill there, 4th in the NHL, and spent a few years with the Nashville Predators and had a top 5 penalty kill there as well. In between, he was at the U.S. National Team Development Program where he coached Lane Hudson in 2020, 2021. So he's got the developing players aspect that Pittsburgh would like, special teams aspect, which they would like, and well, it's just about putting it all together. Not going to be an easy job for that team this year, but I think he's more than qualified for it.
Clifton, another big hit at the top of the circles. Challenged by Condotta, back into the zone. Belzil tries to lay one on Clifton. Ryan Graves uses the glass, tries to chip this puck out. Davidson gets there first. Novak now engaged in the board battle. Back to center. Lusanen in over the line, takes a look, chips it back down low. And Gaizo takes a hit from Harvey Pinard. Another shot, Montembeault ready for it. Maybe Montembeault, 19 shots he's seen so far in this game. Majority coming on the power play. 6 penalties collectively in that first period, all minor penalties. 4 coming from the Montreal Canadiens. The 3rd most minors last season in the regular season in the NHL. Took a lot of penalties, spent the most time shorthanded as well. But their penalty kill was strong considering 9th best. We'll see some change of personnel this year. Montreal will flip this puck to center. Shea goes back for it. He'll look up ice as Montreal gets a change. Back into the zone. Montembeault will come out and play the puck. Give some time for Patrick Laine to find Oliver Kapanen at center. We saw this trio work together early on in scrimmages. That was the thing in the scrimmages. No power plays, no penalty kills. It was simply a breakaway shot. So our first look at special teams here in preseason action.
It was a great play by Kapanen on the breakout to not turn over the puck in the middle of the ice. Made a nice move and ends up resulting in a clean exit for Montreal playing in Pittsburgh zone.
Keno goes back for it. Another chance for Ivan Demidov. The crowd came to life through a rookie camp, but he played Saturday night here at the Bell Center. They just showed his photo up on the Jumbotron, and the crowd went crazy as Struble tries for a shot. 12:40 remaining in the second period. Montreal finds themselves down by 1. First taste of preseason action this season.
Raphael was awesome guy. He's full of energy, always got a smile on his face, a great laugh. So yeah, I enjoyed my time playing with him. He was a great captain. Obviously, when you win championships with a group, it's a special bond. You kind of have that forever.
Raphael Harvey-Pinard, Noah Dobson, former teammates with the Ran-Arena Huskies, 2019 Memorial Cup champions. Dobson going back-to-back as a Memorial Cup champion, only 13th player to do so. So he was always had a smile on his face. Harvey-Pinard, a good leader, had the energy. Looks back on those moments fondly.
Raphael Harvey-Pinard always had a good energy here in Montreal, and struggled to get his footing after getting hurt, and now finds himself in the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. Signed a one-year two-way that'll pay him $775 at the NHL level and $450 at the AHL level. Good organizational depth to have. Someone you can call up and know exactly what you're going to get.
Tough, right? An off-season injury. Did most last season in Laval. Got one game with Montreal. He's found a new home in Pittsburgh. Engstrom watching the body. Puck pops loose. Jake Evans jumps on it early. Josh Anderson using his speed, trying to get by Mantha. Anthony Mantha using that 6'5" reach to extend. Anderson, Gallagher, Evans. I mean, do we call this the dad line now this season, in the off season, all becoming fathers? Brendan Gallagher trying for a centering feed to Clerman. Harvey-Pinard pinned up against the boards by Gallagher. Back up high, Clerman. Slap shot gone. Lundqvist with the save. Evans into the turnover. Now a break for Novak on the far side. Harvey-Pinard driving center as Montembeault will make the save.
Jake Evans is going to turn this puck over at the blue line as he tries to make a pass across the ice that Tommy Novak is going to pick off as Tommy Novak comes over to Pittsburgh from Nashville. And one of those players that they will rely on after he had a down year last year. He's got 2 years left at $3.5 million, and 45 points a couple of years ago. Really felt like he was trending up, and the last year only 22 points, and was injured a little bit, and a player that they'll need to get some production from.
Fowler is starting to gather his helmet. Squawker and Trappers. Now it's at the halfway point of this game. Herman looking for this puck. Heads back for his stick as the puck works up high. Pickering down low. Heads back for it. Calling. Owen Beck tries to get open. Owen Pickering, another player looking for more ice time on the left side with Pittsburgh. Pickering has a lane. He'll try for an off-the-bank pass down low. Del Gaizo keeping things to the outside for Montreal as Avery Hayes keeps it in the zone. Fabry spinned up by Del Gaizo. Clerman steps in as well. Sean Farrell takes a hit on the far side. Montreal eager to break this puck out, some sustained time in their own zone. Dumba stretch pass, Sam Poulet. Don't get pinned up against the boards. Clerman has some time, he heads back for it. Davidson keeping an eye on it as Montembeault makes the save. Belzile in front. Penguins have numbers. Poulet rolls off. To the blue line it will go for Ryan Shea. A D-to-D pass. Dumba takes a look. Off the backboards it will go. So at the halfway point of this game, hard hit. Belzile jumps right back up. And here we go. Davidson has found a dancing partner, Sam Poulet, and they'll go at it. Davidson, strong right arm. Some preseason hockey at the Bell Center. Poulet with a few right shoves. Davidson trying to break free. The fans behind Jaron Davidson as the officials intervene. And a big roar from the Canadiens fans. He's calling for more. Getting the Bell Center rowdy in preseason action.
Halfway through the second period, and wouldn't you know it, we have a fight in the preseason. Jared Davidson and Sam Poulin, former first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And if you're keeping track at home, Jared Davidson got dinged for a penalty call in the first period that's very similar to this hit by Poulin on Belzile. And Davidson sees that, steps in, challenges Poulin, and a good fight. Both players landing some punches each way, and now a goaltending change. Sergei Murashov in for the Penguins, and Jacob Fowler in net for the Montreal Canadiens. Perfect timing on that whistle, just over the halfway mark of the second period. Both second goalies enter the game.
Fowler from Melbourne, Florida, earning himself the Mike Richter Award last year. He said it was a goal for himself that season to come away in an NCAA career having won top goalie award, and he did just that. Boston College got eliminated from the playoffs. He went over and joined Laval. 8 playoff games, .902 save percentage, not bad for Jacob Fowler. When asked what it would be like to play at the Bell Center his first game, his face just lit up. So I'm sure he's soaking in the moment as Kapanen tries to even this game at 1. Streaming down the near side. Back in the zone. Dobson takes a look. He'll keep it in play. Kapanen picks it up at the far end, chased by Mantha. Laine trails back. Heinen moves it up ice, gives some room for Bros, a lone goal scorer in this game. Tries for the soaring feet, a great stick by Patrick Laine, and an even better break. Patrick Laine tries to drive wide. He'll wait for support.
Patrick Laine, a good defensive spot in his own zone, and tries to create a little separation offensively, but is unable to.
Avery Hayes carries this puck through center ice. Sean Farrell will now pick it up and head the other way for Montreal. To center it will go. Adam Engstrom joins in on the rush. Engstrom takes a look, snaps it across, hoping to connect with Evans. Struble keeps it in place. Fabry chases him. Fowler and Murashov now in the nets for their respective teams. Murashov as well, right-handed catcher. Evans feeds it around. Engstrom keeps it in. Will it be enough? Harvey Pinard tries for a bank pass down low. Tommy Novak carries it in with speed. Novak holds on. Keeps it in the zone. As Clifton on the far side takes a look, sends it across. Graves snaps it right back to the far side. Struble plays the body. Harvey Pinard has an angle. He'll try for the shot. Redirected off of Evans' sticks into the corner. Houston has a lane. Passes it off. Pittsburgh trying to set something up. Struble again playing the body, bringing that physical nature that he feels will separate himself. And ultimately, he just said, look, whoever's the most consistent on the blue line will play. And so that's how he's seeing things, calm and composed. Philip Machar has some room. He'll go for it. Through traffic, great stick by Fabry. Sends it back into Montreal's territory. As the go, Habs go, chants begin here in the second period, finding themselves down by 1. Sean Farrell, who actually has represented the United States in the Olympics in Beijing 2022, walked away with 6 points. In what will be an exciting season, NHLers back at the Olympic Games.
From talking to guys, everyone took into account that there's going to be a condensed schedule, a lot of games in a shorter period of time to account for the Olympic break. So we'll see how guys manage their bodies and their workload as the season goes on.
Demidov managing this puck, no problem. Del Gaizo lets it go from the blue line. Murashov plays the puck. Beck rolls off his pressure. Klerman sees that as an opportunity to go for a change as Owen Beck breaks free. Beck down low. Sends it up high. Dobson walks the line. El Gaizo with a wrist shot. Murashov ready for it. Some sustained zone time for Montreal on that shift.
Graves and Clifton hemmed in their own zone for almost a 2-minute shift as Montreal gets rolling around, and Robbie Fabry loses his stick. No one in front as Delgaizo takes a shot from distance. Might be better served to hang on to that puck. Demidov was calling for it. And Samuel Montembeault looks on after a good performance for him in his first preseason action and first action since tearing his groin in Game 3 of the first round last year against Washington.
Fowler had some games played during the rookie camp over the course of the weekend. Saw the Canadiens rookies, Jets rookies, Toronto Maple Leafs as well. Busy weekend here at the Bell Center. Demidov down low, shakes off. Shea tries to finish the play. Up high to Matheson. Low shot off the backboards. Pittsburgh uses the glass to chip this puck out. Mantha chasing after it. Anthony Mantha's sister Elizabeth, well-known female referee in the women's game, Olympics, PWHL. First female official in the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League as well, as the lineage runs deep in the Mantha family. Novak fights for space. Matheson takes him to the corner as Harvey Pinard takes a hit. Noah Dobson out in front. Owen Pickering pulls it back. He takes a look. Pickering with some great size. 6'5", just 21 years old. You have to think still room to grow. Losing in a chance for Pittsburgh. Fowler denies. A great stomp for Jacob Fowler. As Puustinen will go for the change. And Pickering has another angle. He'll try for the shot. Off a few bodies. Rebound chance there. Into the corner. Now back up high. A far side pass gives Pittsburgh some room. Under 5 to go in the second period. Brunick trying to get open. He's got some room. Back up high for Pickering. Matheson watching Pickering. A few shoves for him along the blue line. Fowler, another strong save. Can't be easy coming in mid-game. Some sustained time there for Pittsburgh. Fabry has some room. He'll chip it in, goes for a change. Alex Belzile heads back for it. Played 44 games as a Montreal Canadien. 15 points during his time. You think of the countless years as a pro. Only got a shot at the NHL level with the Canadiens. As Clifton. On net it will go. A stoppage of play for Jacob Fowler. Seeing a lot of action here in the second period as the Canadiens try and tie things up in Montreal.
Devastating last year in the preseason for Patrik Laine as he went down with an injury in a preseason game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But it wasn't just him. David Reinbacher took a hit at center ice from Marshall Refi that sidelined him. And then Patrik Laine now gets an opportunity to come back here with a full summer, a healthy summer, something he hasn't had in a while. Remember, prior to last year, he was hurt a lot and missed a lot of time 2 years ago. And we just saw Ivan Demidov head down the tunnel for the Montreal Canadiens, so we'll keep an eye on when he returns to the bench.
Yes, well, all eyes on the tunnel straight ahead of us. It was a very emotional training camp for Canadiens fans to see those two stars go down. Martin St. Louis even saying, look, and I take full responsibility for the slow start for the Canadiens. Look at the first 15 games, 4-9-2 record. Wanting these guys to come out with urgency from the jump so that they are ready to go on opening night, October 8th against Toronto. They'll start on a 3-game road swing against some original 6 teams, Detroit, Chicago, and then come home for their home opener against the Seattle Kraken on the 14th.
The thing about preseason and your best players, you need those guys to set the urgency level and the pace level. And you know, maybe it sounds like it might be a little much early on, but if those guys aren't doing it, then everyone else isn't falling in line. So you need your best guys to be the tone setters for you. Show the young guys that this is how we do things here. How you do anything is how you do everything. And for Montreal, they've done a great job of building a culture. Now they have to integrate all these young players. Someone like Jacob Fowler, they did a great job last year with Lane Hudson and bringing all these guys along and showing them this is how we do things in Montreal, no matter what.
We've heard Hughes St. Louis say they feel like they've had to be salesmen the last few years, making Montreal a place you want to come to. Fair to say they have done just that. Noah Dobson has just been raving about the excitement to join this team, saying it always looked like they had fun coming to the rink. And who doesn't want to join a team with a promising future and where the culture's energetic and positive?
When you can look at an organization and say, that's how they do things there.
Gallagher, a shot just high for Brendan Gallagher. A clean lane to the net. Another chance. Josh Anderson, Jake Evans, the trio can't complete. A great push for the veteran line. Gallagher all alone in the slot. Evans, another chance just off from Miroshov. And to that point as well, you look at Martin St. Louis, the Jack Adams finalist last season. Pascal Vincent, the head coach of Laval Rocket, winning AHL Coach of the Year. Let's not forget in the ECHL, winning the Kelly Cup, Trois-Rivières Lions. So from top to bottom, Montreal Canadiens organization, an exciting future ahead with proven results last year.
A good sight right now on the Montreal bench as Ivan Demidov is back on the bench. And this new dad line for the Canadiens is going to get a couple chances in front of the net. Gallagher tries to put it in front for Anderson. Evans can't follow up the play as it goes right between the legs of Miroshov and misses. And there's Ivan Demidov. Everything's okay. He's back on the Montreal bench. So a sigh of relief for Habs fans.
Evans, a father of twins, Frankie. So you two, I'm sure, will have lots to talk about.
I know a thing or two about that. I hope he's sleeping more than me.
He had a good joke between him and Gallagher, sharing rides to the rink. It's whoever gets the better sleep has to drive.
I like that. Good policy.
That's a good policy. Demidov back on the bench. Good to see here for Montreal in his first preseason game this year with his rookie season ahead of him.
They're going to be going for 6 o'clock dinners on the road so they can get into bed nicely.
Matheson. Father himself spins it away. One-time shot. Philip Machar lets it rip. John Farrell picks it up in the corner, looking to keep this sequence going. Another shot. Dobson breaks his stick. He'll head to the bench. Out comes Engstrom. Montreal finding some looks. Final minute to play in this second period.
Normally you would think it's the team that was on the plane today and traveled that wouldn't have their legs early on, but Pittsburgh has been out shooting Montreal quite heavily, and now Montreal finding their legs. There's Ivan Demidov. He's had some flashes, but when these preseason games can be so scrambly, it's hard to turn it over shift after shift and really sustain it. And we've kind of seen that so far almost through 2 periods.
I think, too, with the volume of penalties in the first period, haven't really been able to roll the lines. As Engstrom finds Struble. Down low for Patrick Laine. Trying to outwork Shea into the corner for Laine. Using that reach. Draws the penalty. Shea can't believe it. Holding will be the call. Montreal back on the power play.
And Patrick Laine going to draw his second penalty of the game.
Pittsburgh, number 5, 2-minute minor, hold it.
A little offensive zone time for this top line for Montreal in this game, and Patrick Laine's drawn another penalty, moving his feet, leaning on Ryan Shea, working through the body contact, and eventually Shea's going to take him down. That's a good sign. You want to see that from Patrick Laine, working through contact and keeping those feet moving. Good things tend to happen, and he's drawn another penalty.
0 for 2, 3 shots on Montreal's power play so far in this game. Looking at a power play unit that could very well be their second unit, or more of a 1A, 1B when you're looking at the personnel Montreal can choose from this year. Likely Kirby Dach floating in where Oliver Kapanen is, but you never know. As Kapanen finds Demidov, he comes in with speed, full control. Ivan Demidov finds Noah Dobson. Montreal to the power play. Demidov draws it in. Dobson releases. Block shot in front. Fabry shaking that one off. Dobson, another angle. Drops it off. Demidov in front. Toe save by Miroshov. As Kapanen floats it back for Demidov. Gallagher, net front. Kapanen, a quick release. We saw these two working on this play at the morning skate today. Kapanen in the bumper spot, working on the quick release. Come and gone in Montreal as the Canadiens still find themselves down by 1. They will open up the third period on the power play.
Well, par for the course for a preseason game as Montreal gets a little more time on the power play to start the third period and some more puck touches for Ivan Demidov.
Arpin will return for his Arpin's Notebook segment as we send things over to Laura Dyken.
2-0 after 2 periods of play and other preseason action. Well, yeah, no scoring in that second period between the Pens and the Canadiens, although Jake Evans was very close to breaking the deadlock there for the Habs. Montreal will start this third period on the power play as we send it back to Kenzie and Frankie.
Yes, thank you, Laura. Welcome back inside the Bell Center. Jacob Fowler stopped all 5 shots he saw in the 10 minutes of play, swapping with Samuel Montembeault partway through the second period.
And maybe further down the list of battles that are happening here at training camp is the goaltender battle, and how does Jacob Fowler fit into that? No doubt, supremely talented, skilled goaltender, high pedigree, had a .940 save percentage last year at Boston College, but how do you manage how many games he's going to play this year? Because Samuel Montembeault played 62 last year, and he's a true #1 goaltender. So what's the best thing for Jacob Fowler? Even if he does force your hand, you try and keep him up with the big club. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, he did say this offseason he really just worked on getting his body ready to take on a workload of 50 to 60 games this season. Hasn't seen a workload like that yet in college or in juniors. Take a look at the sequence here that saw the puck right along the bench there.
Yeah, that's Sean Shuchek. It's a clearing attempt right off of Ryan Graves. A minute to go in Montreal's power play with some fresh ice and everyone well rested. And I think with this power play, all you're looking to see is how can everyone execute? Where does everyone go in their spots? And can you get the chemistry, the familiarity with everyone going as early as possible?
We heard from Arpin Basu in the second intermission. Arpin's Notebook back in full swing. Kapanen likely in where we'll see Kirby Dach this season. As Gallagher down low, Demidov lets it go. A one-time shot from Ivan Demidov. Low and hard.
Be another 5-on-3.
Tripping will be the call as Graves takes the seat again.
The second 5-on-3 of the game for the Montreal Canadiens is Graves is going to get his stick into the feet of Kapanen and takes him down. As that happened, a one-timer developed for Ivan Demidov. So power play to start the period, and a little more time. 5-on-3 as Marty St. Louis is going to bring everyone in to try and draw something up. And it might seem inconsequential, but this just goes to show you what training camp and these preseason games mean to the head coach, where he wants to see these guys execute on something, work on something, and ultimately score a goal. It's one of those things where it goes back to what we talked about earlier, Kenzie. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Right.
Well, that's something that Marty St. Louis wants to preach to this group.
He wants to see the urgency. He wants to see the mentality from the get-go, wanting to get better.
There's also the other side of it. A coach could say, you guys are out there, you're going to do it yourselves, but Marty St. Louis wanting to coach and be hands-on.
Nice win for Kapanen off the draw. 30 seconds of the 5-on-3 for Montreal, their second of the game. Up top, Dobson with a slap shot. Marashov, top of his crease, makes the save.
Here's your industry standard 5-on-3 play right off the face-off, where you put 2 players behind the net. You try and get the whole penalty kill looking behind the net, and as that happens, that's when the defenseman's going to sneak in. In this case, it's Noah Dobson. Because that puck goes behind the net, there's a huge pocket of ice that gets cleared for him. As Demidov just lays it into an area, Marashov does a nice job to square up to that.
Montreal trying to keep this in zone. Clear by Clifton. Under 20 seconds of this 5-on-3 for Montreal. Noah Dobson with a look. Moves it ahead for Kapanen. Has support from Gallagher. Rolls to the corner. Demidov and Kapanen go after it. Dumba protects with his body. Gets the clear just in time for Ryan Shea to join in. On the far side, a look as Fowler makes the save. Montreal still on the power play. 5-on-4 as Graves still in the box. Fabry reverse play, chips it ahead, tries to get by Dobson, uses his reach to keep him at the half boards. Fabry back down low. Montreal able to get it clear as Pittsburgh pulls it back to center. Personnel change for the Canadiens as Fowler feeds it to Matheson on the far side. Going back.
It's going to be an adjustment for Mike Matheson this year. We know Lane Hudson's going to be the quarterback of the first power play. Noah Dobson, $9.5 million, new acquisition. He's going to run that second unit. That means there's not much power play time available for Mike Matheson, so he's going to have to adapt and adjust to a new role.
Yeah, he's said during training camp, look, he's embraced a new shutdown position, playing the bigger minutes, enjoys being trusted in those moments. Of course, adapting his game has had to accelerate here the last few years. As Engstrom, another shot from Matheson. Engstrom, another look. He'll go for the shot, high and hard. Final seconds of this power play for Montreal. Stepping in, Major with the fake in front, trying to feed Sean Farrell. Another chance. Miroshov gets there in time. Trickles in front. It's Owen back. Well, the Canadiens create chaos in the crease, and Owen Beck puts one by Miroshov to tie this up.
A couple shots create some chaos, and Philip Machar is going to do a great job. He tries to thread it into the middle of the ice, but the Penguins all collapse. But he follows it up around the net, and then Owen Beck, a couple whacks at it. Miroshov ends up on his back as four Penguins players around the front of the net. Miroshov gets twisted onto Dumba's stick. And Graves is flying out of the penalty box. It's going to be an even strength goal. A nice job by Machar to make the play, and Owen Beck to follow it up as there's a bouncing puck that he capitalizes on to make it 1-1.
44 points last year for Owen Beck with Laval. 15 goals, 6 of them game-winning. Comes in the bigger moments. 1-1 your score here in the third period. First preseason game for the Montreal Canadiens. Back at it tomorrow night against the Flyers. New home for Christian Dvorak. Kundata, a no-look shot just wide. Herman hopes to keep it in. Belzil fights off the pressure. As Arnick chases him. Hit late by Imama, who this time last year, Boko Imama was in training camp with the Ottawa Senators. Looking for a full-time job here in the NHL. Montreal native, 29 years old, Boko Imama. Klarman, stretch pass. Trying to find Jake Evans, who starts to chase. Manthoff, his skate and into the crowd.
So for Marty St. Louis, he calls a timeout on the 5-on-3. His team doesn't score, but as it goes to even strength, Owen Beck is going to get a goal. And we know Owen Beck trying to make a team. There's a job available. Always nice when you have the trust of the coach, but the offense is there. And for Philip Machar, it wasn't a great year last year for him in Laval. He struggled with injuries. He got passed over by a number of players on Laval's playoff run. Only played one playoff game. A smaller player at 5'9", but he's got to find that next step offensively after being a first-round pick a few years ago.
Management have shared with him they want to see him play more of a grittier game that has that skill, and when he gets his moment, he can certainly shine.
He's got good wheels, but he's got to utilize them with the puck. Take it through the neutral zone. You want to see the speed with the puck for Machar.
Clifton out wide, tries for the shot, follows up the play. Montreal has numbers in the slot. Ivan Demidov able to make the clear as Smatha's shot lands on net. Back to Machar. He said he watched a lot of Mitch Marner's clips. Technical player. Started transitioning into more Brad Marchand footage. As
There's Pascal Vincent, the head coach of the Laval Rocket, who did a great job with that team last year. Only 2 years removed from a job as the Columbus Blue Jackets head coach. And it's a pretty big responsibility being the head coach of an AHL team. You want to develop winners, but you have to develop players that are ready to go when they get the call to the NHL level.
Florian Jacki was asked what it's like playing under Pascal Vincent. He said, one of the best coaches I've ever had, just so communicative. No matter where he was in the lineup, he knew where he stood. Montreal starts to unload some shots here in the third period. That level of communication can differ based on coaching structures. Tripping the call. More look at special teams in the third period. Montreal heading back to the power play.
And more power play time for the Canadiens. If you're this top power play unit, you're happy at the amount of time and puck touches you're getting, as it's a little bit of interference from Puustinen on Mike Matheson. Matheson's playing a heads-up one-on-one with Tommy Novak, but Puustinen just clips his leg on the way by. That allows him a little time and space to get an advantage, make a pass, and wouldn't you know it, Ivan Demidov's going back onto the ice for the Montreal power play.
0 for 4 so far in this game on the power play for the Canadiens. 6 shots. Can they find one here? Owen Beck has tied this game up. No, Dobson pulls it back. Demidov takes the shot off for control. Backdoor Brendan Gallagher. A great feed from Demidov. Incredible vision. Naps it right across to Brendan Gallagher on his offside. Great look by the young forward.
That was a great pass by Demidov. I'm not even sure Gallagher was expecting that.
No, Dobson has some time. He'll go for a skate to center. Dobson in control. Throws it back to Demidov. Quick up for Kapanen. Finds Gallagher on the far side. Chips it ahead. Laine has room. He'll take it. Toe save. Rebound chance. Miroshov gets there just in time. Gallagher back to his feet. Laine, another angle. Snaps it across to Demidov. These two able to work together in the offseason, both staying in Montreal. Laine looking to call for it. Demidov weighs his options. Back down to Gallagher. Some good looks for Montreal on this power play. We've seen all game long. Graves chasing into the corner. Minute gone on this Canadiens power play. Novak showing his speed. Gets there first. Penguins on the kill. Tommy Novak goes for a skate. He'll bring it out wide. Steered to the corner by Dobson. Owen Beck provides support.
We're going to see Demidov become such a dual threat on the power play in that half-wall position. If you want to play aggressive on him, he'll thread a bullet pass right across the ice, and if you want to give him some space, he's got a great shot that he's going to walk in and use. It's going to be interesting to see how teams handle him this year with that half-wall position on the power play.
Engstrom keeps it in zone. Meshar, final seconds of this power play for Montreal. To the point. Adam Engstrom bakes the shot. Matheson lets it go. As time expires, out comes Puustinen, and we're back to 5-on-5. Montreal still in the zone. Meshar takes a look, feathers it ahead. Beck looking for his second of the night. Meshar and Beck are connecting this evening. Sergei Miroshov tested in this third period as we're all tied at 1 in Montreal. Well, the hockey roots run deep for the Mantha family here in Quebec. Anthony Mantha's grandfather, Andre Pronovost, won a Stanley Cup with the Canadiens 4 straight seasons from 56 to 60. Pronovost was even in attendance when Anthony Mantha scored his first ever NHL goal. It was in Detroit, and it was against the Montreal Canadiens. Off the faceoff, Montreal back in the Penguin zone as Dobson tries for the shot. Davidson, fight under his belt tonight. Sam Poulin toe-to-toe. Matheson tied up, a break for Pittsburgh, has some room. Fabry tries to let it go. Jacob Fowler denying the Penguins on the rush.
There's the skating ability of Harrison Brunik. A second-round pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2024, jumping up into the play as Matheson's going to go down. Mantha gets his stick into the heel of Matheson. He goes down, and as Mantha drives the net, that opens up a gap in the ice for Brunik to jump into. But quietly, Jacob Fowler has done a really nice job stepping into this game as Pascal Vincent looks on. I'm sure wondering if that's going to be his starting goaltender this season. I'm sure he hopes so.
Yeah, get those minutes, get the volume of games in pro hockey.
He'll have a better team for it. And chances are Jacob Fowler does not spend that much time in the American Hockey League.
And then the question for backups. Jakub Dobish here in Montreal, the likely candidate. You've got Kaapo Kähkönen, an experienced veteran goaltender. So a lot can happen in training camp. Fowler able to make the save with bodies in front, the help of his teammates. Davidson off the rush, has Belzile with them, looking one further for Condotta. Reverse pass, Simama heading up ice for the Penguins. Has help, and Kindle trying to keep this play back into Montreal zone. Both teams go for a change. Engstrom weighing his options. He'll take a look. Stretch pass to Brendan Gallagher. Gallagher chipping it ahead off the inner skates as Anderson tries to tie up a body. Tommy Novak coming the other way. Novak to center. Far side. Graves lets it go. A high and hard shot. And Graves has been around it here tonight for Pittsburgh.
Well, they need a big year out of him. They have a lot of money invested in Ryan Graves. He's on year 3 of a 6-year deal at $4.5 million.
Novak, another rush play. Has some support. Pusanen leans off. A chance in front. Looking for Harvey Pinard. Clifton lets it go. Pittsburgh getting some chances off the rush. Later half of this third period.
Ryan Graves has been up in the play and is going to generate some chances here as Jacob Fowler getting some action in the Montreal zone. There's Graves right through the middle of the ice. Delgaizo does a nice job to stretch out, and that deflects the pass right to Clifton as Harvey Pinard in the middle of things for the Penguins.
Face off to the left to Fowler. Kapanen taking the draw. One back by Tristan Brose, who opened the scoring here tonight for Pittsburgh. Kapanen looking to play the body. He'll keep chasing. Dumba moves it ahead, has some room. Brose tries to protect. Delgaizo trying to send him to the corner as Patrick Laine feeds it back into Montreal's end. Klerman up ice for Kapanen. He'll chip and chase. So at the halfway point in this third period, under 11 remaining. Have to think exciting preseason hockey on the horizon for Pittsburgh. Marc-Andre Fleury signing a contract now.
That's
September 27th, the date. How much will he play? No one knows. We have to think ticket sales are going quite well here for the Penguins in that preseason game.
That's the way you do a one-day contract.
An excellent photo. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. He's in the bathrobe. He's got the rings. Not afraid to bring the humor. Dobson keeps it in. Trickles to the corner. Matheson jumps in on the play. Back along the blue line for safety. He keeps it in zone. Sean Farrell chases after it. Takes a hit from Brunik. Mashar rolls off. Collides with Hayes. Trying to start the cycle. Hayes reads the play. Gets there first. Dobson hoping to keep this puck in zone. He'll find success. A big off-season trade for the Montreal Canadiens, bringing in Noah Dobson. Neil Heineman part of that trade. He continues to be part of huge trades. Think of the Toffoli deal as well. Neil Heineman, a new beginning with the Islanders. 9:36 remaining in the third period, all tied at 1 in the Bell Center.
Marty St. Louis talked this morning about how players have to adapt and evolve, and I'm sure he would tell you that the same applies for coaches. And for this Montreal Canadiens team to get back to the playoffs, they would do themselves a lot of favors if they got off to a better start than what they did last year. They tried to do some things defensively that didn't quite work. Marty St. Louis made adjustments, and a team that was in early December, the worst defensive team in the NHL, really righted the ship. And then in the last 26 games, you saw that process really start to take shape. And eventually Montreal gets to the playoffs. And well, that's the expectation now for this group. And that process starts earlier than it did last year.
Right after Christmas, when things started to click for the Canadiens, which is such a vulnerable time of year when you think if you're a team that's consistently on the road that time of year.
Think about who you're playing against. Florida, Tampa.
It was a test, and the Canadiens passed with flying colors and were able to turn their season around.
They had to go Florida into Tampa, into Vegas, play a game in Chicago that they lost, and then go back down to Colorado and win that game. And well, they were playing well prior to that road trip, but everything kind of clicked. You had the Jakub Dovish game in Florida. You got some contributions from some players. Big Alex Newhook goal in the Tampa game. And Samuel Montembeault, a huge save at the end of that Vegas game on New Year's Eve to preserve a win. And the Montreal Canadiens never looked back from there.
Going to get things started on October 8th this time of year, right when puck drops and the regular season begins. Noah Dobson moving things down low. Ivan Demidov with some moves. Fights off pressure. Quick shot. Save by Murashov. One-time release from Kapanen. Demidov hoping to pick up the bouncing puck. Kept in zone by Laine. He'll work along the boards as Harvey Pinard tries to seal this away. Battling up against Kapanen. Puck blown down as it heads into the Pittsburgh bench.
How about that little skill behind the net for Ivan Demidov? The key to this is getting out of your turn quickly. Demidov does a great job of it as he's going to spin off of Tommy Novak. He gets Novak to look the wrong way, and then the little stutter step, the 10-2 turn, ends up setting up Kapanen for an opportunity. But this is how good players create separation. They do it with their feet, and Ivan Demidov can certainly do it. He's going to do it at a high level in the NHL.
We saw in the prospect showdown game, Demidov even used the back of the net there to bank pass to himself to fight off pressure. Showing that creativity. Clerman, a D-to-D pass. Elgaizo back into the corner, hopes to find Jake Evans. Dumba goes D-to-D, looks for Shea, kept in by Josh Anderson. Quick pass to Evans at center, back down into Pittsburgh zone where Brendan Gallagher's there. 108 remaining in the third period. Mantha going after it in the Montreal zone with ease. Back into the far side for Heinen. Marker Wotherspoon, another player the Penguins landed in the offseason. Often trains with Heinen during the summer. BC native guys. Graves trying for another shot from the blue line. Connects with Mantha in the corner. Out in front. Elgaizo hoping to beat Graves. His reach. Now it's him the advantage. Back into the slot. Shot blocked. This time by Clerman. He'll play the body. Pops out. Evans makes quick pass down low as Montreal's getting hemmed in their own zone. And a chance for Pittsburgh to capitalize, but Jacob Fowler's there.
Well, you just get the sense of calm and ease when you watch Jacob Fowler in the net. This is a really nice play that the Penguins pull off, getting this puck off the wall, and Robbie Fabry is going to find a quiet pocket of ice to get a shot off. But it doesn't feel like Jacob Fowler moves too much in the net. Doesn't have overly busy feet, but it just looks like things hit him square in the chest. And it's nice to have that feeling of calm in your goaltender when you're a player on the bench.
Off the draw, Struble feeds it back down for Engstrom. Two paired tonight. This fail. Tries to move it ahead. Koponen trying for the centering pass. Back on the reverse play. Sends it to neutral ice. Fowler will come out of his net to settle this puck in behind. He's trying to force his hand. Now Sean Farrell to center, takes a look, challenged by Kindle. Stretch to Owen Beck, through the legs, stole it away by Brunick. He'll look up ice. Sam Poulin as well for help. Montreal gets a change. Dobson feathers it ahead, hoping to connect with Sean Farrell, but he'll go for a change. Dobson in the zone. Shea with a quick shoulder check. Belzil right on his tail. And Dotto hoping to keep this puck in zone. A quick shot, this time by Davidson.
You start to feel out which lines have had good games, and this fourth line for Montreal, they've been physical, they've been on pucks, they've been hard to play against. It's a good showing for those guys. That's what they're trying to do in order to cement their place in the organization.
Matheson takes it upon himself, brings it deep into Penguins territory. Scans his zone, finds Thompson with the one-timer. Davidson hoping to pick up that rebound in the slot. Condotta working down low, finds Jared Davidson. He'll rip around for Demidov. Jumping puck, Matheson heads back to center, connects with Dobson. Montreal remains in the zone. Cross-ice play, looking for Demidov. Miroshov will gather the puck by the post. 5:19 remaining. It's the first preseason action in Montreal at the Bell Center. Canadiens and Penguins.
There were a lot of times last year where it felt like Montreal's second line didn't play as much as a typical second line would. Patrick Laine averaging just under 15 minutes per night, and Kirby Dach, of course, hopes to be the second line center this season. Both these guys have missed a lot of time. If they can stay healthy, they can get their feet under them, they can be productive, and it doesn't turn into a situation where Marty St. Louis is looking past the second line to get the Evans line on the ice more. To have a viable solution as your number two line will be something that will be key for the Montreal Canadiens this year.
Laine, Dach, they want big seasons from themselves. The organization does, the fans do as well. Everybody rooting for those guys to have a long, healthy season this year. Big year for Kirby Dach as well. Final year of his contract. Say the same about Laine as well. Dobson showing his speed through center. Gets set up by Heinen. Back into the zone. Matheson, shoulder check. Sees Mantha reverse pass to Laine. Taps it one further to Kapanen. Finds Demidov on the near side. He'll use his speed to get in the zone. Goes 1-on-2. Mantha there for help. There are 5 remaining, all tied at 1.
This has been a good game for Patrick Laine. He's made some good plays in tight areas. He's made some plays in his own zone. Might not get rewarded on the score sheet, but for me, Patrick Laine, he's playing hockey. He's not playing, I'm just trying to score a goal.
Evans seeing if he can score one. Great chance towards the end of the period earlier on in this game. Well, Guyzo to Clerman. Takes a look. Blocked in front by Harvey Pinard. Bouncing puck. Montreal trying to settle it. Penguins come away with it. Evans coming off career high season, put up 36 points last year, and he was all the talk around leading into deadline. Stuck around in Montreal. Big piece to this core. You have to think not many guys left from the Stanley Cup run. In front to the glove of Fowler. Puck still loose. Fowler stretches out and makes the save.
There's a nice job by Jacob Fowler tracking that high tip. And eventually he's going to cover up on the rebound. Kenzie, you talked about Jake Evans signs a 4-year deal at $2.85, and that's good value for a player that can give you more than fourth line minutes, as Robbie Fabry's going to get a stick on this in the high slot. Nice slap pass as Graves looking for Fabry. The puck might have been going over the net, but a nice job sticking with it by Fowler.
You have to think, too, if you're a player like Jake Evans and you're deeper in the lineup, the best thing you can get is the trust from your coach. And Martin St. Louis certainly has that in Jake Evans. Says he loves it here in Montreal. So a great move for both parties. And a big season for Jake Evans. Critical role he plays on the penalty kill and also in the room.
And something like that goes a long way for the perception of the team from outsiders, right? Like, you know, if you're a free agent and you're looking at where you want to sign, you look at things like that and say, well, that guy could have made more money elsewhere if he really wanted to bet on himself. But he was so ingrained in the team and the culture and everything about being Montreal, excited about the future and the core. Guys look at that. They want to be a part of a team where guys don't want to leave. There's some teams guys can't wait to leave, and there's some teams guys never want to leave. You want to turn your team into one that guys never want to leave.
Canadiens building in that direction. Face-off back down into Montreal's end. Beck will take the draw. And really last year when he got called up to play with the Canadiens, he was in as a winger, and kind of saying that was really the only time he's played wing. It was a challenge in itself, but he loved the opportunity. And you think where that opening is right now, it's on the wing with Newhook and Bolduc, but with the versatility of a guy like Alex Newhook, you never know if that will just be an ever-changing center to wing situation. Matthew Dumba heads back for Pittsburgh. Hindle taking a look up ice, leaves it back. He'll go for a change. Penguins stretching the zone. Montreal staying at bay. At center ice, keeping their eyes on Mantha. Dumba takes a hit from Condotta. The Penguins get it into Montreal's zone. It's the netting, so stoppage of play with 2:17 remaining.
Plenty of special teams time for both these teams, and for Noah Dobson, that's getting acclimated to new teammates on the power play and seeing who wants the puck where and what kind of movement you're going to have. And for Noah Dobson, he was asked to do a lot on Long Island. He'll still be asked to do a lot, but there's going to be a little bit of alleviating of some of the offensive stuff with Lane Hudson eating up so much of that first power play. He'll be able to narrow his focus a little bit more, and that should make him a better player.
Fans had an opportunity to take a photo with Lane Hudson and the Calder Trophy over the course of the Prospect Showdown weekend. Pretty unique opportunity for Habs fans. Rose chips it in. They'll chase after it.
It's crazy to say, Kenzie, because Noah Dobson signs an 8-year deal at $9.5 million, but he's still developing. He's just a 25-year-old defenseman. He's coming into his own, and for him and for the Montreal Canadiens, the hope is going to be that he has his best years in the NHL in the red, white, and blue.
And you start to wonder, too, as Mike Matheson comes in the zone, takes it out wide, feeds it in front. Ivan Demidov was right there as Matheson found him just in time. Shot just a little high. Clifton the other way. Penguins chances off the rush in this third period. Harvey Pinard off the post. Another shot from outside. All tied at 1:1:02 remaining.
More looks at the net in front of Jacob Fowler. This is Raphael Harvey Pinard has a busy game covering up on the point. This puck is going to get deflected en route to the net at least once, maybe twice, as it goes off the post, and Jacob Fowler has to react to it.
Harvey Pinard was able to cash in off that successful season with the Canadiens in the 2022-2023 year. Signed a 2-year, $2.2 million contract. Now here with Pittsburgh on a 1-year deal. Final minute to go in the third period. 1-1 your score. 2-on-2 battle to the right of Fowler. He's seeing if this puck will pop loose. Clermont right there. Pittsburgh happy to wind down this clock. Under 40 seconds remaining, and this puck's going nowhere. Clermont tries to dig it out. He'll be successful. And Josh Anderson hopes to take advantage. One-on-one, Josh Anderson through the legs. Dumba just pushes him through. Playing the body, Matthew Dumba.
On a team that struggled defensively for the most part in Pittsburgh, they'll look to Matthew Dumba to bring that energy defensively and be a physical presence on the back end.
Clermont, final seconds. Miroshov was ready for it. 60 minutes, not enough. First preseason game. We are off to overtime here at the Bell Center. Take a quick break. We'll be right back at the Bell Center. Overtime on the horizon between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Montreal Canadiens. Welcome back in Montreal, all tied at 1. That means we need overtime. So how did we get here? Go back to the first period.
Started on the power play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. A couple youngsters setting this one up. Brunick and Tristan Brose is going to get the Penguins' first goal of the game off a nice feed from Puustinen in the bumper position, and then skip ahead to the third period. Montreal Canadiens are going to tie the game up. Owen Beck, who's battling for a roster spot, is going to follow this play up right to the front of the net as Matthew Dumba's stick is going to get caught in the legs of Sergei Murashov. He goes down. Beck takes full advantage, and a 1-1 game heading into overtime. As we know about the roster spot that's up for grabs. We believe it's going to be on the third line, and Owen Beck, a prime candidate, even though he's a centerman, to potentially grab that spot. Now it would be interesting to see how things play out with him and Newhook, because Beck is the better face-off player. Newhook has been a center and excels at that position. You want his speed in the middle of the ice. And sometimes it is positionless, especially whoever gets back to their own zone first. That player is going to assume the responsibility of the centerman.
Time will tell. Overtime underway at the Bell Center, 3-on-3 for the next 5 minutes. Demidov, Dobson, Kapanen, 3 on the ice for Montreal to start things off. Pittsburgh in the zone, led by Tristan Brose, a lone goal scorer for the Penguins. Drops it off for Anthony Mantha. Dumba tries to get open. Mantha moves it ahead for Brose. Mantha scanning, pulls it back to the top of the circles. To the center of the ice, pulling back the pressure. Brose waits for new personnel. Brunick getting some time here. Shot just wide. Harvey Pinard out in overtime for Pittsburgh. Dobson for Montreal, sending things the other way. As Kapanen with him. He'll pull it back. Kapanen and Demidov go for a change. Evans to the ice, and Patrick Laine. Jake Evans looking to use the dimensions of the ice to his advantage. He'll go for a skate. Jake Evans brings it in on the far side. Slows up pace. Eyes Mike Matheson. Loose puck. Tommy Novak gains control for Pittsburgh. Harvey Pinard eyeing the bench. He'll go for a change. Gives time for Heinen to step on the ice. Heinen, the Bluebirds are out in Montreal. Spins back. Has time now. Hayes tries for a quick snapshot off the stick of Matheson. Still in zone. Hayes rolls off from pressure. Scanning for help. Cross-ice play. Cutting in front. Matheson, a broken stick on the play. It could have been a break for Mike Matheson. Ryan Shea comes in on 2-1, unfolding backdoor. Jacob Fowler. What a stop.
What a save. How about that, Jacob Fowler? Thank you very much.
Canadiens fans paying their respects to Jacob Fowler, diving across his crease to make the stop. Shea will try again. Ben Kindle, 2025 first-round draft pick, draws in to the backhand. Takes a look. Kindle to the center of the ice. He'll walk. Skates back to center for Shea. Kindle finds some room. He'll take it. To the center of the ice. Kindle, a high and hard shot. Over halfway through overtime. Pittsburgh in control. Montreal changing. Up comes Dobson. Kapanen eyeing Mantha. Demidov tracking. Coming in with room. Great stick by Dobson. Dumba eyes it. High and hard shot. Keeps in play for Noah Dobson. He has help. Ivan Demidov in overtime. Tries to cut in. Mantha reads the play as this crowd came to life. Now it's Noah Dobson's turn to Demidov. What a stop by Murashov. Goaltenders exchanging highlight reel saves. Ivan Demidov has his eyes on the moment. It'll be into the skates of Ryan Graves, but Kapanen's there for help. And a minute and a half remaining in overtime. Montreal in zone. Dobson, Demidov, and Kapanen. Dobson takes a look. Demidov pulls it back. Chased by Ryan Graves right now. So Dobson rolls off. Into the corner off the skate of Kapanen. That will head into the crown. So a stoppage of play with 1:03 remaining.
I know it's the preseason, but the roof would have blown off this place if Ivan Demidov is able to cash this in at the side of the net. What a save by Sergei Murashov as he gets across to stop Demidov. Dobson does a nice job selling that he might shoot and then slides it right across the ice. Demidov unable to elevate it as he's got the top part of the net. And before that, a partial 2-on-1 as Matheson had gone for a change, and Jacob Fowler slides across perfectly, gets his glove onto that offering by Avery Hayes. He keeps it out. Best saves of the night for either goaltender.
Face off to the right of Murashov. Evans taking the draw for the Canadiens. And back in favor of Pittsburgh. Novak, reverse pass to Brunik. Ben Kindle getting lots of time in overtime for Pittsburgh. Offside the call. 51.4 seconds left on this clock.
Oh, Ben Kindle's been an impressive player. Not the biggest guy at 5'11", 181 pounds, but taken 11th overall by the Pittsburgh Penguins in this past draft. And he's obviously earned some trust from Dan Muse, getting some deployment in overtime as such a young player. Pittsburgh has had a ton of draft picks the past few years.
I think sitting at 11th right now in the upcoming 2026 NHL draft. St. Kyle Dubas wants to go higher in the draft. Now it'll play out for Pittsburgh. Patrick Laine comes in. Stopped up. Pittsburgh battling the clock here with 30 seconds to go. Sam Poulin finds the far side of Brunik. Back to center. Poulin to Evans. Turnover into the hands of Jake Evans. A look. Evans, he'll take the shot. Open net, and it's off the post for Mike Matheson. A great sequence for Montreal. Poulin battling the clock for Pittsburgh the other way. Out wide, cuts in. Clifton gets open. Will he do it? Jacob Fowler makes the save as the buzzer sounds. We need a shootout in Montreal.
I know exactly what both of these game groups are going to be practicing tomorrow. Finishing chances. Plenty of chances in overtime for both of these teams. The latest one, Jake Evans, 2-on-1 with Mike Matheson. Wants to pass it across but can't get it there. Ends up taking a shot with a perfect rebound for Matheson to walk into. And Mike Matheson just puts it off the post as he's got all kinds of net to work with. Well, both these teams scoreless in overtime, headed to a shootout. And that means more looks at Ivan Demidov in a shootout situation. See what kind of creative move he can come up with. Jacob Fowler has been really impressive in this game. Had a huge save in overtime. Just displays so much calm and poise in the net for such a young player. Only 20 years old, but a bright future ahead of him. And you would have to think if you're Pascal Vincent watching this, you're pretty excited.
Oh, yeah.
About the possibility of getting Jacob Fowler. And well, Val Rocket had a championship run last year. When you have a goaltender like that, you can make a championship run.
Well, it was Kaapo Kähkönen on the other side with the Charlotte Checkers that ended the Laval Rockets run. So you wonder how they're sorting that out maybe in the locker room.
The goaltending position is stronger this year in Montreal than it has been the last little while, since Jake Allen has left. So now you feel like you have an upcoming star in Fowler. You have a real solidified number one in Montembeault. You have someone with NHL experience in Jakub Dobiš, who's young and has a promising future, and a good veteran organizational depth, if you want to call it, in Kähkönen. Right. That's a really strong position right now for Montreal.
And look, Ivan Demidov may have only played 7 games last year, but I think I'd run out of hands if I tried to count the amount of Demidov jerseys we already see at the Bell Center.
Yeah, very popular one.
So we get ready for a shootout at the Bell Center. As the crowd comes to their feet, Ivan Demidov will be the first shooter. Demidov brings it out wide for Montreal. Steps in, poke checked away by Miroshov.
It's a sneaky little poke check by Miroshov, who doesn't extend the stick, doesn't move his hand up to the handle, but just gets enough of the puck off of Demidov's stick as he tries to bring it right across the crease.
Anthony Mantha to the line for Pittsburgh. Quebec native. Steps in, patience. Fowler stops the shot.
Mantha just tries to change the angle here, see if he can get Fowler to overcommit as he comes in on his forehand side. He wants Fowler to not move enough to the side of the net that he's going to, and Fowler doesn't budge.
Fans back to their feet as Patrick Laine eyes down Miroshov at the other end. No goals yet in the shootout. Laine, can he break free? Just wide for Patrick Laine.
The release was good. He disguised it pretty good with the stick handle, but ends up putting it wide. If that hits the net, there's a good chance he's going to beat Miroshov. The one stick handle, quick release.
Tommy Novak, Pittsburgh's next shooter. Takes it in far to the left side, just like Mantha. Draws it in, Fowler makes the save.
I tried to beat him quick, right between the legs. Tried to disguise it. That was not fooling Jacob Fowler. That puck has to be moving so much quicker in order to beat a goaltender like that from that type of distance.
Sean Farrell will be Montreal's next shooter from Milford, Massachusetts. Still looking for our first goal. Farrell brings it out wide again. Cuts in, tries for the shot, trickles in. Time is of the essence for Sean Farrell.
Bank shot. Sean Farrell, who had a great second half of the season with Laval last year, goes back against the grain, and keep in mind, Miroshov catches with his right, so that's off the blocker and into the back of the net.
Rose steps in for Pittsburgh. Can even it up through the 5-hole. Tristan Rose finds success.
That's how you do what Tommy Novak was trying to do. You have to get the goaltender to bite and open up his legs and then get that quick release. Rose does exactly that. A couple quick fakes, get the legs opened up, and then slide it right through.
Philip Machar, Montreal's next shooter. Machar with speed. Takes it in through center. Machar to the backhand forehand. Miroshov extends the pad just in time.
Great reflexes by Sergei Miroshov to stay with this, as Philip Machar does a great job. Sells that he's going to go to the backhand and then cuts quickly to the forehand, but Miroshov extends his left leg perfectly.
Ben Kindle, 2025 first-round draft pick, to the line for Pittsburgh. Takes it in far and wide. Cuts in, Kindle, backhand, Fowler holds.
That puck's got to get elevated. And Jacob Fowler stretches out just a little more on that right leg as Fowler reaches out. Kindle runs out of real estate. He can't elevate it.
Oliver Kapanen now for Montreal. Kapanen takes a look, a deke, and he finds success.
Nicely done, Oliver Kapanen. Kapanen's reading the goaltender this whole time. He gets Miroshov to slide a little bit to the blocker, and then right at the last second goes back against the grain. Miroshov was aggressive. Kapanen goes right around.
All eyes on Avery Hayes for Pittsburgh. Hayes steps in, and Fowler makes the save. Montreal Canadiens take it in a shootout, courtesy of Oliver Kapanen and Jacob Fowler. 2-1 your final at the Bell Center.
Hard to not be excited about the future of Jacob Fowler. It's early. It's his first preseason action. But boy, was he calm and poised in the net. Did a great job in the shootout. It looks like a veteran already at such a young age. A good game for Patrick Laine and the Montreal Canadiens. And get a win in their first preseason game. Owen Beck scores a goal, looking for a roster spot, looking to win a job. And does a nice job leaving a good first impression as the Montreal Canadiens beat the Penguins 2-1 in a shootout.
We learned a lot tonight here for the Canadiens. This training camp well underway. Preseason action. First game come and gone. Needed a shootout for this one. Oliver Kapanen, your hero at the Bell Center tonight. Back at it tomorrow night against the Flyers. Will we see Kirby Dach? Will we see Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield? Time will tell. But that'll do it for us here in Montreal. On behalf of myself, Kenzie Malone, Frankie Corrado, and our entire crew at Habs on TSN, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night.